Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's the end of the day. I've just been doing this all day long. No, I haven't been working. I just got back to it recently. Yeah, so I don't know. Just like chilling out here on YouTube. I saw something about humanoid robots. Did you see this thing about humanoid robots? Crazy. I definitely would not mind having a humanoid robot. Why not? Imagine I could just chill out here in my, where I'm sitting right now, just chilling, doing nothing with Mr. Gordon D. Gordon, my dog, next to me, and somebody else is cleaning the house. That would be fabulous. I would like that. Um, I don't know what should I show you before. In fact, I got an issue right now because I started the video, but actually, all right, let's give you a little sneak peek. All right, let's jump into windsurf. I don't know if it works or not. It looks like it's working. Okay, so as you can see down here, yeah, you can see it. So basically, you can change the thing down here. It's like GPT-5. I switched it back to GPT-5 High Reasoning. I was using Claude Sonnet 4.5 Thinking, and I just did a quick search on whatever AI, and then I was just like, hey, I just was wondering what is Claude Sonnet 4.5 better at, and what is GPT-5 better at? And basically, I remember they were saying, well, if you're creating some kind of software, you can use Claude 5. It'll like keep track of everything, and it'll maintain like some logic throughout the entire development process. And then they're like, well, like if you saw some of our last videos, there was this one video where I was just like chilling out. I was just like telling how to create my app, like because I have the whole thing in my mind. I know what the whole thing looks like. Oh, let's turn this thing on. So, and then, but the thing is that somehow you got to get that whole thing on paper. So, anyways, I was using ChatGPT. No, I was using Google Gemini, and then I was just like, talking through like all the functions, all the different aspects of what the web application would look like. And then, yeah, so now we're having these login problems. So I figured, well, if we're having login problems, it means we're debugging. If we're debugging, we should probably go back to ChatGPT. We should go back to GPT-5 High Reasoning. GPT. Did you hear the Boris? What's his name? No, not Boris. What's the guy from Great Britain with the wavy hair? Jobo. What's his name? Boris Johnson. Yeah. GPT. So, anyways, yeah, you get like one additional credit too because it's like cheaper. Anyway, so I just switched it back to GPT-5. I don't know. I just feel like I was getting a lot of success from GPT-5 earlier. And technically speaking, we are doing like a very, very specific debugging process now. Let's just go into the sync. Let's go back into the window. Maybe we'll just do it with the window because maybe it'll be just better to just do it with the window. It's the window. Where's the window? Live streaming. Look at this one. Oops. I don't think I got the right window. Here. Dang it. I'm going to switch it to a different. All right, so let's switch it to Webmaster, and then I'll be able to see it easier. All right, and the one that has Webmaster is going to be the correct one. Okay, so here's Webmaster. Basically, this is what Webmaster has to say. He's like, "This is the breakthrough. Cascade has found the true cause of our final 500 error. My apologies, blah blah blah." Okay, Cascade. So what's happening is really logging into Superbase, and then when the app then calls your API to get your team name and role. And then there's this crash. The API function is incorrectly coded to look for your data in a Neon database, not a Supabase. It's crashing because our data doesn't exist there. So we have to abandon our previous plan of disabling RLS and running SQL scripts. And then, so here's the immediate action. So this is web-based. Now, web-based, as you can see, it's telling Architect what to do. Architect, Cascade's diagnosis is correct. Please proceed immediately with option A. Direct Cascade to refactor this to remove all the Neon drizzle code that replace it with Supabase JS using the existing Supabase service role key to query our Supabase database. The environment variables are already in place. This is our top priority. I'm on standby. The required Cloudflare environment variables are already in our production environment from our previous step. Once the architect confirms the new code is deployed, I will guide you through the final login test. After that success, run the RLS script to ensure that secure the database. Good. All right. Now, if we go into then we go into our architect. Webmaster Architect, you're 100% that screenshots and analysis provide the final piece of the puzzle. My previous instructions were focused on fixing the initial login token. It's a different error. Login succeeded. New error. Root cause. The fix. We will abandon all previous plans. Our next is to create a new branch, refactor the file, remove all neon drizzle, replace it with this, use this, keep this. Use a new Supabase client to query the team member table and join teams to fetch the user's profile based on the user ID from the JWT. Ensure the function ensures the exact same JSON response shape as before. Follow all the mandatory workflow. Run the reliable lint check. Fix any errors. Commit, push. Create an auto-merging PR. Oh, we got to do a whole plan after Cascade finishes. We'll wait for Cascade to PR to be merged. Cloudflare will automatically deploy this fix. That might take 2 to 5 minutes. You will test the login. This time should succeed. He'll be redirected to the dashboard. Only then we'll proceed to this. Okay. Well, unfortunately, over in Windsurfville, it's like still doing whatever it's supposed to be doing. It's going to take a while. So we're like, wait, this is going to take a lot of time. Like, this is 15 minutes before we're going to see anything. Minimum. Anyways, the fun thing you can so on Windsurf, the fun thing about Windsurf is that you can actually put there's like a doorbell in the background now, and when it finishes, it'll be like ding dong. So that's sweet. Do I still got audio working? Let me check the audio. All right, this looks like it's still working. What are we going to do for 5 minutes? 15 minutes. I saw this crazy video the other day. Can you? You're right. Okay. So I saw this crazy video the other day. It was insanity. Look at these pictures. Okay, look, I obsessed. Look at this dude. You've ever seen this dude before? Rob Whaling? So, yeah, I really liked his last video. It was pretty intense. So the dude's like, hey, guess what, guys? So he's talking about phase one, pre-product market fit. And all right, so the fun thing about this is I actually created. Did I delete that? I think I might have. I don't think I deleted it. I think I kept it. Why would you keep it? Yeah, you kept it. Because you sent it to Emily. All right, check this out. It's so insane. Okay. So imagine you have a product, like a website, and you're earning, you have like a monthly revenue of $1,000. And then let's say that your month over month is constant. Let's say that each month you make $100 more than the previous month. And let's say that your monthly churn is 10%. All right. So guess what do you think is going to happen? Check this out. So your starting month over month revenue is 1,000, and then you make an extra $100 that month, and then so your new revenue is $100. Then your churn is 10%, which means that you're losing $100, which means that your net monthly revenue is $1,000. So it's it. That's it. It's like it just stays the same. What does that teach us? So let's just go back to this screenshot. I'm going to pull this thing over here a little bit. All right. So what we're talking about is the product market fit. So he's talking about pre-product market fit. He's talking about monthly revenue, monthly reoccurring revenue between 1 and 5,000. So every month you're making between $1 and $5,000. Now, month over month growth. So let's say it's less than $500, and then you have your monthly revenue churn. Now, let's say that you have like some Facebook ad, or you're doing some Instagram ad, or you have some other method for finding new customers. And then the question is like, is it constant? Like, are you able to get like so for example, with my product, let's say my product is $50. So $50, it represents two customers. If I have a month over month growth of $100, it means I have two additional customers each month. And then if the monthly churn is 10%, it means I'm also losing two customers per month. Question: if I'm making $1,000 a month, how many customers do I have? So that means I currently have 10 customers. I have 10 people that are paying me, no, 20. So I have 20 people that are paying me $50 each equals $1,000. And then every month I get two new customers that are paying me $50 a month. And every month I lose two customers who are paying me $50 a month. All right. So now the dude, he's just like, hey guys, you need to focus on conducting customer interviews, building relationships with early users, gaining trust, prioritizing critical feature requests, refining, identifying your ideal customer profile, experimenting with different value propositions, testing one or more marketing channels. So the thing is, that, like, I was talking to this one lady. She's from Russia, but now she lives in Thailand, and I was like comparing it to dating. I was like, when I was living in Russia, I was dating this one really, really tall girl. And like we used to go to dance lessons together. We would learn cha 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 and stuff like that. In English, it's called the cha cha, but in Russian, it's called the cha cha cha. Let me just tell you something. So, uh, now what I noticed when I started to like really think about these things, all right, so conducting customer interviews. So I put that here, interviews. And then we got building relationships with early users and getting trust. All right, so here we have early users in order to what? Interviews. And then we have prioritizing critical features. Okay, so here's a feature request. And then refining core features. So that's here also related to features. Then we have identifying your ideal customer profile. Okay, so that's here. You got your customer profile. And then you have identify, and then you have experimenting with different value propositions. So that is like, what is the value proposition customers keep coming back to? And then testing one or more marketing channels. Okay, so that's marketing channels. So I decided to put them all together. And I related to dating because marketing channels, imagine like, okay, so you're like a conservative person, you're trying to find other conservative women. So we go back to the old adage that it's easier to find a sober girl in a, what is it called? No, it's easier to find a smart girl in a bar. No, wait. It's easier to find it's easier to find a beautiful girl in a library than it is to find a smart girl in a bar. Now, this doesn't mean that stupid girls go to bars. It means that like all the girls that are like that want to meet guys and just want to have fun and like want to drink and want to relax and that kind of stuff. The people who want that kind of element in their life, they all go to the bar. And you're going to get all kinds of girls in the bar. But when you go to the library, then it's like maybe you're only attracted to like three of the girls in the library, but likely those three girls are going to be more interesting and intelligent. But if you go to a bar, like if you talk to the girls that you're attracted to, there could be like way more girls that you're attracted to, but none of them necessarily have the habit of reading. All right, so what are you going to do? You're going to go to a church? Are you going to go to like a speed dating? Are you going to go to some industry event? Like, what's your strategy? I don't know. Anyways, I have my strategies. You have your strategies. So what happens next is interviews, and this goes back to our concept of the hook. We talked about the hook, and I like hook in terms of like the Tinder app. So the Tinder app is really simple. Basically, you're gonna like someone's gonna send you a link, or you're gonna find something related to Tinder. And what is it gonna get you? It's gonna send you some kind of notification. You're gonna open it. Anyways, you're gonna sign up. You sign up, and what's the action? You got to set up a profile, and then immediately it tells you to start swiping right. So the variable reward is that you're going to get some matches. And then what's the investment? The investment is like, oh, well, I got 5 matches. So let's say that I swiped right 100 times. I got 5 matches. Means I'm getting 5% success rate for matches. Well, I want to increase the number of matches. And then like I asked this to a lot of students, and they all kind of like vary between two answers. The guys, they always say the same thing. They say, "Well, you should pay for premium." And I'm like, "Pay for premium?" And the girls, they all say this opposite. They say you should improve your profile. Basically, they're both right. So what happens with premium is it's not really related to it's not related in the same way that you think. Well, maybe it is. Maybe you already know. So what happens with the premium? What happens in premium is that they're going to send your profile to women while you're sleeping, like way more women, and so it's more likely that you're going to get more females that are pre-approved that are going to be put into your Rolodex, into your potential swipes. So if you don't pay premium, then you're going to get like 100 random pictures the next day, and then you're going to swipe, 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 and you're going to get a 5% success rate. All right. So let's just assume that by not changing your profile, you're always going to get that 5% success rate. The investment, of course, is then if you improve let's say that you rent some friends, and then you're like taking pictures of you with these rented friends, and you're like, wow, look at me. I'm hanging out with these friends, and they're so awesome. And then, like, oh, look at me. I'm driving a fancy car. And like, oh, look at me. I'm successful, and like, I'm interesting, and I'm intelligent. And because like women, I don't know all women, of course, but some women, they're interested in lifestyle, and they're looking at like, what kind of lifestyle am I going to have? What is my socioeconomic level with this person, and what kind of advantages will it bring into my life? And so the men, they have to understand that what you're trying to capture is the advantage, the benefit that you can bring into her life. So if you can make that investment, and then you go and then you start swiping right, and then what you find is that boom, suddenly you're now you're matching at like 15% or 20% or 50% rate. Your variable reward changes based on your ability to increase your to improve your profile. Yo, I think my windsurf is frozen. Hmm. Oh, starting to spin again. I don't know what happened. All right. So let's go back. What we're talking about is the same thing here. So what you're doing is okay. So now let's say that we have some interviews. Now the interviews we could say, because what we're talking here's customer profiles, prospects, early users. What's happening here is the next time after you have some matches, you're going to go back into you're going to get some external trigger. Let's say that like you start to get upset, like, I never get any matches, and then one day, boom, like you get this trigger. It says come back to our app. Why? Because we have a message for you. It's like, what, a message? So you go back to the app, you read the message from some young lady, and then she's just like, hey, how you doing, what's up? And you're like, wow, variable reward. And then it's like, okay, so you talk to her for a couple days, and then she disappears. So what you realize is like, out of the 5 matches that I get every week, since I decided not to improve my profile, and I decided not to pay for premium. So I'm always going to get around 5% matches per week. It's just the way the system works. And then with those 5 new people to communicate with each week, like usually 4 out of the 5, let's say that like N 9 out of 10. So every 2 weeks, I go on 1 date because 9 out of the 10 girls, they eventually stop sending messages, and, whenever I invite those 9 girls, they always say no, but there's always 1 out of the 10 that says yes. So then, boom, we go on a date. Now we get to the date, and then she's just like, "What?" She's just like, "What?" The key question is always, what's the variable reward after a date or on a date? And of course, the correct answer is a return appointment because this is a business centered discussion. And when we're talking about business, what we're talking about is a subscription model. So we want a subscription model. So we want people to be paying every single month, which means in relationship terms is we have a solid relationship. So I'm talking to this lady from Russia that's living in Thailand, and I'm like, all right, so you see that like once you start to get some, once you like, let's say that all of your dates are like ending badly, and the girls are always saying no, like I don't want a second date with you. So it means you have to refine your features. Like, what's the deal? What is it that she doesn't like about you? What is it that makes you not marketable? What is it that like it's just not working? And in some cases, there are things that you can do to improve yourself. And then there are in some cases where you need to change the market. So, for example, I don't know, maybe this sounds a little bit controversial. I went to China when I was in my 20s, and I was like, I was going to like an Ivy school, Ivy League university, one of the top 3 universities in China. I had like bright red hair, and I'm really tall, and like I could speak Chinese really well. And so basically, I was walking around, and everybody wanted to talk to me, or at least because when the population is 26 million, so that means that like there's always some percentage of people who are willing to talk to you. And then when you have that population density where you can basically stack like any other city with a million people, and then you're going to stack it 26 high. So it's the same square kilometers, but it's like 26 times more people. So it means that you're going to bump into potential people that are interested in you at a much higher rate. So it's just I was a superstar. I just felt like this everyone loves me, and this is a wonderful place to be. And it was just the most amazing experience of my life, just to be able to experience China between 2003 and 2013. Like that was literally like the rocket ship was breaking like that boundary of like what is the gravity, it like left the gravitational pull, and it's like it was headed. In fact, I think that was like one of the years in there that China actually went to the moon. So it was insane. Now, of course, China's grown a lot to the 10 years after I left, but those 10 years were awesome because when I got there, people were like, they're like, why did you come to China? It's the poorest country in the world. And I was like, huh? And then when I left 10 years later, they're like, why would you leave China? It's going to be the richest country in the world. And I was like, what? So I would say that's a really awesome snapshot of China development. Now, okay, then after that, I went to Russia. Well, I went to California first for a couple of years. Then I went back to Canada for a couple of years. Then I went to Russia for a couple of years. Now in Russia, I was like surprised because I thought there was going to be mail order brides, but apparently that was back in the 90s at the fall of the Soviet Union. So since then, the Russians have done all kinds of things to develop their economy. And when you go to Moscow, like the girls are like, so you're a foreigner, and like what's your job? Like how much money do you make? And where's your car? And do you own a house? Like they're like really, really. And I was like, what? I gotta own a house? Then I found out, like, in most countries, in a lot of countries at least, you have to own like a physical piece of property before you're allowed to get married. I was like, "What? What is going on?" I mean, it's because if you grew up in America or Canada, basically everyone's like, "Yeah, jobs are guaranteed and anyone can get a loan," and it's like, that's just life. But you go to other countries, there's no guarantees. So it's like, are we gonna be alive at the end of the week? Is like one of the local mafias gonna come and rip your head off? Like, is there the rule of law? It's a whole nother ballgame. So after Russia, I moved to this country and I bought a piece of real estate. And then like recently, And I couldn't even get a date here. I live in a village, and they're just like, "Hey, you're some weird foreigner." I literally have to go to a war zone to get a date. It's insane. So, anyways, I go to the war zone and I say, "Hey, ladies," and they're like, "Hey," and I'm like, "I have a piece of property," and they're like, "Okay," and like, "Can you get me a passport?" And it's like, I don't know. I was like, "We'll go check the laws, see if you can get citizenship after getting married." And they're like, "All right, let's do that." What? So then you have 2 issues. One issue is, like, your marketing channels, meaning, like, where are you sending your messages? Are you finding your customers? Are you in the right place to find potential customers? And then number 2 is, do you have the right features in order to attract that customer base? So then as you go through this process, eventually your value proposition is gonna become more and more clear. What is the value proposition customers keep coming back to? That's what I learned. Common pitfalls. So now, all right, so new leads. Always look for new leads. Always look for new leads. All right. So this, as you can see, is a cycle, meaning you have to continually find new marketing channels. You have to continually interview your new customers. You have to make sure that your features are exactly what they are asking for, and you have to make sure that you're doubling down on your value proposition. All right, onboarding. So now I think there's always just one issue is the onboarding process. I think onboarding process, it just depends on what the app is. Yeah, obviously Tinder is like it has a really smooth onboarding process, but it also has a really good payoff. So pre-screening potential mates, that's like where are you going to get that? Like if you go to the street, it's like you're not going to get pre-screened pre-screening on your mate selection. If you're like a tall redheaded dude from Canada, and you're going to an Ivy League school in Shanghai, yeah, you can basically do whatever you want. You just walk around and you just say hello. But for the common guy, like a pre-screening, it's like, what? I don't care what the onboarding process is. I'm gonna go through the pre-screening process and we're gonna like get a date within, a week. So then customer conversations and then feedback. New leads. Yeah, so you can see exactly how Tinder is this like it's like a secret weapon. It's like you're always getting new girls to talk to. And then when you talk to them, then it's like you're slowly getting the feedback about how to talk to, how not to talk to other people in order for them to feel like this is sending messages, right? The onboarding process is getting them to say yes to a date, and then you go into the like having conversations about your what customer conversations. So then you're actually on a date, and then you have to get some feedback. Like at the end of the date, you can ask them like, okay, so are you going to kiss me? And they're like, no. And it's like, why not? What are things I can improve so that in the future I can get a kiss? So there you go. So that's the thing is like you want your return appointments, which is because what we're talking about here is a subscription. So let's say that like we have a constant over month growth. Now, how can you increase your month over month growth so that it's not constant? Well, that's this step. It's marketing channels. So you're going to do some work with your marketing channels. And then how can we what's the other one? Reduce customer what's monthly churn? How do we reduce the monthly churn? So that's related to the onboarding process, not the onboarding. That's related to customer conversations and the feedback. So that's actually like, does your application do what you're promising that it should be doing? Is there that constant value that people get month after month? All right, and then after that, you're going to hit phase number 2. So then you're going to go to a weak product market fit, where you're going to have month over month growth, bigger month over month growth, a smaller churn, and then you're going to have this awesome monthly reoccurring revenue. There you go. So I don't know what's happening in our good buddy over there in windsurf land. Come on, it's been doing this thing for like literally for a million years. Is there something else I want to talk to? Let's go back into Instagram. Instagram posting strategies. So when we think about these two essential areas, which is like marketing channels, wait, maybe we're going to change the mic to this mic so I can type and it's not going to bother people. I don't know if I can even change this mic. Okay. Let me just check to see if it's hello. Tap, 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 tap. Okay, check the other one. Yeah, you see, it's still using the. How would I do this? The way that you do it is you click this. I'm not sure if it's going to work. Probably not. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay. All right, it doesn't matter. All right, so let's just get this idea together. Condi? Quiet. So the thing is that like the thing I'm trying to really focus on right now, if we go back up, let's go back up, in fact, to the product. We're talking about product launch. And inside of the product launch, of course, we have this thing called the production of products and service. Then we have the brick and mortar, and then we have the marketing and sales. And what I've discovered is that, like, how is it that I actually create this my pre product market fit product? How did I make that? So production. How did I create this? So I used Google Gemini. And then I used Windsurf. And this is one. And over here, what I'm considering using is a combination of sandcastles, castles, and in video. That's what I think is going to happen. So Google Gemini is like it's kind of doing like research, brainstorm, and refine. And then Windsurf is production. And in fact, the sandcastles in video is actually the same, basically the same concept. And what I'm saying is that if you're doing some kind of, if you're making a digital product, then you're going to need like some kind of project management. And then this one is for deployment. and then also in like marketing and sales. So you're going to need something to do the brainstorming and the research and things like that. And then you need something else to do the production. Yeah, so that's kind of the model that I'm starting to see. I don't know what to do with this windsurf thing. It's like it's been like working at this thing for like forever. I think it might be stuck. I don't know what to say. What's going on over here? I don't even know. Like, what am I actually doing with this? Define your target organization chart. Okay, so then let's close this one. So what I have over here is I have got architect and webmaster. Now I got architect here. I got webmaster here. And I have Vortex over here. So I'm actually using Google Gemini for all three of those. Complete the competition matrix. And then I need to, so the competition matrix is up here. And you're going to have, basically you have to list out the elements of your value proposition. And then after you finish, then you can look at the established competitors for each of the value propositions that you're providing. And then you go into the elements of the value proposition about the marketing messages. And this is kind of a new area for me. I'm just starting to think about this because I'm almost done with the pro version of the app. So then the question is, well, what's after this? If we go back to the 100 tasks, because we're getting awfully close to having this done. Build functions. So the next one is going to be determines tool stack. Wow. So my understanding is that the next section is going to be this section. Wow, yeah, that's true. Okay, good. Yeah, so the next stage is building functions, designing operating model, create a budget, incorporate legal entities, set up the bank account, set up the accounting, define central local logistics value stream, perform capacity planning for facilities, finalize name, perform legal checks of business model and key documents, set up content production, set up customer care, and prepare tech infrastructure and security. Exactly. You got it. So what is it that you have to like? So what are the blockers here? I don't know, windsurfers really having a hard time. Just gonna count. I'm gonna quit windsurf. It's dying. I think it just died. That's the first time I actually experienced windsurf, getting stuck and just dying. I wonder if it's because of the. I don't know what I wonder. All right, what are the blockers here? So the blockers define the organizational chart. Yeah, we talked about the organizational chart. Basically, the organizational chart is architect / cascade, webmaster / cascade, vortex / sandcastles / generative AI. Gather requirements for each function, institute each of, okay, complete competition matrix, logo. All right, what are we going to do with the complete competition matrix? So maybe to complete the competition matrix, I'll have to do the business growth engine for the competitors. I did the business growth. I did the how did that disappear? Is this for my? Yeah, but I thought I created another one over here. Here it is. So I did the growth engine, the business growth engine for a different website. So I could consider the business growth engine. I could create the business growth engine for my major competitors. All right, finish the pro version of the app. Look at the business growth engine for the competitors, logos, and creative. Connect, Stripe, end-to-end testing. And then what? What does build functions mean? What is designed operating model? Incorporate legal entity, set up bank accounts. Okay. All right, so we got that done. All right, I just reverted back on Windsurf, so we're starting again fresh on Windsurf. Means it's going to take another 15 minutes. I don't really know what to say here. I think everything is kind of like it's fine. Like I'm not worried about anything inside of here. And I'm not worried about anything in any of these other pages. Let's just move those ideas up a little bit. So we got marketing channels. Marketing channels in creative. Interviews. Interviews. Onboarding process. Value proposition. And we have features. Refine features. New leads. Refine features. There. All right, I think maybe the windsurf is going slow because my internet speed. I don't know what the deal is. So I'm just gonna let it run in the background. I think we've been talking long enough. So let's maybe something will happen. And next video, I'll show you inside of my Mr. Software. Thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you next time.